Hello and welcome to this virtual edition of A Political Insight by TVC22. I'm your host, Thomas Stockting, broadcasting from my living room today as we live through what is yet another lockdown in Ontario at the moment, having as well just received as was quoted on Global News, a once in a decade snowstorm as well, with forecasted snowfalls of up to about 50 centimetres over the past 24 hours here in Ontario. So keeping nice and warm and cozy today. In today's episode, we're going to be giving you a little introduction to the new man at the helm for the United Counties of Prescott-Russell for the year 2022, the new warden himself, Mr. Daniel Lafleur, the mayor of Castleman. So we're going to bring Daniel Lafleur on. Mr. Lafleur, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule and speaking to us today. First of all, congratulations. How are you feeling having resumed the post in this new year?
Well, I do feel fine, and I'm very grateful that my colleague did appoint me as warden of Prescott and Russell. I'm very pleased.
Yeah, you had the support of your colleagues. It was a little bit unanimous. We were fortunate enough as TVC22 to be able to come down to your inauguration ceremony as well. We came down and filmed the event, and yes, absolutely, the unanimous support by your colleagues. Mr. Lafleur, we're going to leave some time at the end of this interview to give a little bit of an introduction about yourself to the people, to the United Counties of Prescott-Russell. But obviously, to begin with, let's dive straight into the crux of the matter. Some of the priorities that the Ucpr have set in place for 2020. Spoke there just then of that inauguration ceremony. You highlighted in your speech then a couple of things that you thought were some of the big projects and the big targets for this year. One of them obviously being the continuation of the huge long-term care project in the region, the Residence Prescott-Russell, the new one that's being built just at a stone throw's distance from the hospital in Hawkesbury. Now, the groundbreaking ceremony took place in March 2021, but building started about February, I think about a month before. So we're coming close to 12 months since building started. Can you give us a little bit of an update on the progress of what is happening with the residents?
Well, yes. First of all, I'd like to, regarding the construction itself, it's going extremely well. We had confirmation saying that it is at this time, concrete-wise, at 22% done. So by for this year, 2022, we'd like to see the concrete done as such, and the starting of the exterior finishing, and after that going towards the interior, starting the interior construction itself. Now, with the contractor, they do tell us that it is on time to have it key-handed by 2024. So that's great news. We received that at the end of December. So for us, the United County, we're very pleased with that. Now we got to understand that it's a beautiful project. It's a costly project, but again, at $90 million project, it's great economy for the United County of Prescott and Russell. I have to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Alexandre Gorman, our director for the United County resident. This gentleman is our director, and I'd like to thank him and the staff for the nice work they're doing at this time while the pandemic is going on. And I'm telling you, we're very grateful to have all the staff in at our residence at this time. And I do thank Mr. Gorman for taking care of this beautiful project also.
Yeah, you mentioned the pandemic there. I mean, there are so many different sectors that have been so badly affected by this pandemic, but long-term care is another one, and it's good that the project was obviously still already becoming underway prior to that pandemic hitting. It's coming at a very good time. It may be a bit of an obvious question, Mr. Lafleur, with an obvious answer, but according to you, in your own words, why would you say it's so important to have this new long-term care facility built in our region?
Well, it's going to give higher quality and service for our residents. Above that, it's going to give us 224 beds, basic, semi-private, and private. And we got to think that the former resident had only 78 beds. So that will be incorporated in the 224 beds. So it's going to be larger, and it's going to help more and more people in our area for long-term care.
And just touching a little bit more on the project there, you mentioned great news that the contractor seems to say that it's still on time with that date, that handing over the keys tail end of 2023, 2024, as was originally forecasted. How about the budget side of things? As you mentioned, it's a very expensive project in itself, and we know that a lot of sectors have been massively affected by inflation recently, with the cost of materials skyrocketing, especially when it comes to timber and such. Has that affected at all the costing of the residents Prescott-Russell, or does it seem to be keeping in budget at the moment?
Well, we, like I've mentioned, we have a budget at this time of $90 million, and we're still keeping that budget at this time. So we're grateful for that.
And you mentioned there about the number of beds that the residents Prescott-Russell is going to be able to provide, which is great. Additional beds for people needing long-term care in the region. One of the other things that we're seeing, though, unfortunately, during the pandemic, and as was mentioned by the CEO of the long-term cares in Ontario, that about 20 to 30% of long-term care staff have walked away from work or not working for various reasons, whether it be off because of the pandemic or fatigue or burnout over the course of having worked so hard over the last couple of years. More beds, bigger facility is great for the region, but what work is United Counties of Prescott-Russell doing to ensure that it will be adequately staffed?
Well, you see, we're still for employment itself. Mr. Gorman will be doing an excellent job to recruit people. You're sure of it. And even today, with the resident that we have at this time, we were fortunate that we didn't have too much people that were leave of absence because of the pandemic at this time. So we were looking on that side. And like I've mentioned before, Mr. Gorman is doing an excellent job. He's going to recruit people, nurses and help, and for the long-term residents for Prescott-Russell for the future dates. Yeah.
And just finally, the last one on it, we have a new show running here at TVC 22 at the moment called Impact 925 that looks at the les enjeux, like the difficulties and some of the stuff facing the Franco-Ontarian population of Prescott-Russell. One of the latest episodes we just released was on long-term care and about some of the biggest struggles that Francophone people in Prescott-Russell can have when going into long-term care. One of the main ones being ensuring there is adequate communication, and promising of more French beds as well is looking at the residents Prescott-Russell being placed in Hawkesbury in such a bilingual area. I take it there's going to be a real focus on ensuring that there is adequate communication and beds for Francophone people as well.
Well, you're sure of it, because don't forget that Prescott and Russell were really bilingual, and the resident is right beside the border of Quebec. So you're sure that we do have employees that are from Quebec side. So we're not too far from Montreal, and we're right beside La Chute, and so on and so forth. So really, I don't see any danger that we won't be able to have bilingual people to work for our beautiful resident.
That's fantastic. That's great to hear. Absolutely providing for that bilingual community locally. Mentioned staffing there, which, as you say, fortunately we haven't suffered too much in that area. We know that la pénurie de main d'œuvre qualifiée, as we say in French, the lack of skilled workers in the region across different sectors is one of the big impacts on small and local businesses during this pandemic. What is some of the work the United Counties are doing to help out with this lack of skilled labor?
Well, you see, the Prescott-Russell, the United Counties, okay, le centre de main d'œuvre of Prescott-Russell is putting in place subvention for $1,000 for the workers and to come down to our region to have a job, a permanent job in one of our businesses in Prescott-Russell at a maximum of work, minimum, I should say, minimum of work of 35 hours permanent per week. So it's an incentive that we're putting in to have employees that are coming from Quebec side, like I've explained earlier. $1,000, it's excellent for the employer that we could help them regarding that. And you got to think also regarding the COVID-19, the development, economic development and tourism of Prescott-Russell are putting in at this time another financial program attending $5,000 to the businesses that are affected by the COVID, to make sure that they're really affected by COVID. So they could have a maximum of $5,000 to help them to go through this pandemic that we have. And in the future weeks, we'll have more details on that behalf.
Fantastic. Yeah, we'll definitely be looking into that. Warden Warden Lafleur, do you think that the United Counties of Prescott-Russell's priority for 2022 is encouraging more businesses to start up in Prescott-Russell, or is it really going to be about supporting and helping the pre-existing businesses that have struggled so much?
No, we're looking for to have more businesses, and we really got to understand that actually Prescott-Russell, we have a good community service that is helping. I'm just looking at this time. I have the Centre Entrepreneurship of Prescott-Russell, CEPR. They're you see, just in the last year, they did help 190 business to solve some issues they had, and they even started 62 new enterprise in the area, and they enlarged also 19 enterprise in Prescott-Russell. So really, we're looking forward to help the businesses, and that's very, very important. And if we look at the, we have other grants that are coming in towards starting their own company. For this, to start a new company, the CEPR will be emitting an amount of $5,000 to help to start a new business and to give them also some formation to start the new business. And if we look for the summer companies to help students, now there'll be $3,000 that will be offered to start a new summer job for students. So I think all those information, if you'd like to go on our website, uh, you'll be able to see it directly on the website of as the CUPR, Comté uni of Prescott-Russell, United County of Prescott-Russell.
Yeah, some fantastic stuff. That despite the ongoing struggles with the pandemic, that it looks like there is still economic stimulation and growth in the region. You mentioned there obviously incentives to start up businesses. You mentioned incentives to help businesses, as well as incentives to bring workers into the region. But with no point there, that workers into the region comes the issue with housing as well, which there has been some debate as to whose remit that falls under, whether it's federal, provincial, or municipal. What work are the United Counties doing on your own behalf, as well as speaking to other obviously municipalities and as well as the provincial delegates about sort of sorting out that affordable housing crisis that we're having at the moment, because we can't bring in workers if there's nowhere to put them?
Well, you see, sir, regarding the well-being of houses, we're still looking at, like, if we look at the area of my area, we're still looking for some grants regarding that, and we'd like to make sure that we do attend a volume to help people at a low rent homes, but we need land also for that. We need contractors, so we gotta. And we spoke regarding that with the council, and even in the Prescott and Russell, we need more and more residents for bringing people to our beautiful county to work and establish themselves here. That's the best I could mention to you today.
Mr. Lafleur, as warden, but also as a mayor of Castleman, but also as a resident of Prescott-Russell, I wanted to ask you, when we talk about housing there as well, there has been much debate, whether it be in the pub, just normal conversation, or obviously in a more political sphere as well, as to whether that housing should be sprawled out over a wider landscape, especially in an area like Prescott-Russell, which has so much agricultural industry in it, or whether we should be looking at high-rise buildings. What do you feel about that? Do you think it is better to build up than to build out?
Well, if we look in my area, in Casselman, don't forget that our population, the maximum we'll be able to have, will be 12 to 15,000. That's the maximum. If we want more, we'll have to go towards rising up because we won't have any superficie of land enough to build more than the population of 15,000. So for the next mandate, you're sure that we're going to look at this situation, saying that yes, we'd like to have high rise instead of just familial homes, and we'll have to have a contractor that is willing to do that. But our municipality of Castleman, because I'm talking about Castleman, you're sure that we're surrounded by the nation. We got to understand that, and we're very limited towards land itself. So we'll have to concentrate on going high rise in the future dates coming.
Absolutely. It's an interesting debate for sure, and very interesting to see what's going to happen to the landscape, especially as we talk about encroaching on farmers' lands again. Warden Lafleur, one of the last things I wanted to touch on was the United Counties of Prescott-Russell Community and a Wellbeing Plan. It was something that was very much, I'm going to say forced upon you, but forced upon all municipalities, all regions. The province dictated that that one had to be in place by January 2021. Can we talk about a little bit about what that community and wellbeing plan actually is? What does it serve, and how is it going to affect the residents on the ground? How is it going to benefit them?
Well, first of all, I'm very pleased that at this time the committee is very well established, and they're going forward at this time directly on the field. I'm pleased to announce that we have an excellent director that we just hired under the name of Monsieur Adrien Joly. Mr. Joly is a former officer, and he's well known. And he's priority-wise, we're looking to make sure that people aren't aggressive or venerable people, elderly people, young people, age of 0 to 6-year-old teenagers, young children, venerable people as LGBTQ, the elderly people also. We got to make sure that they're in very insecurity, those people. How can we help them? Well, it's with the committee that we have, with the OPPs, an example I'll be giving you. OPPs, the Hawkesbury General Hospital, and the Service of Victim of Prescott and Russell. Now, don't forget that there's 8 items, 8 situation, 8 group that we're really looking into. The health, mentally health issue, the toxicomanie issue, regarding the bien-être, also santé bien-être, regarding the employment, revenue, regarding the violence, regarding the people itself also, the employment, the transportation. So Mr. Joly and his group, they're 25 partners altogether with the United Counties. They'll be looking into those aspects to make sure that our people in Prescott and Russell are very, very in security at this time, and will be in the future date also. And I do have confidence that this committee will be successful.
And when was this committee actually put in place? Was it last year? And would you say this year is the first big year for it then?
In July 2019, sir, it started. And now today they're really going into the field itself in 2022. That's going to be effective also. Mm-hmm.
That's great. Well, we're going to be keeping an eye out for some of the work that committee are doing, for sure. And hopefully we can sit down with Mr. Joly and identify some of the areas that his team have identified as well, and talk about the ways in which they are looking to help our local population. Well, Warden Lafleur, I just wanted to give a little minute at the end of this interview to sort of introduce yourself a little bit more to the wider population of Prescott and Russell who might not know you. As we've said earlier, you are the Mayor of Castleman. How long have you been the Mayor of Castleman for?
I've been Mayor at Castleman since this mandate. In 2018 I started, but before, in 2006 to 2010, I was Deputy Mayor for the municipality of Casselman. In 2016, after sudden death of one of our councillor, the council asked me if I was willing to come back as councillor, so I did until
Mhm.
2018, and after that, today up to today as mayor of the municipality of Casselman. Yeah.
And I know that obviously your role as warden it's only in its infancy, let's say. You haven't been warden for too long just yet. But how do you find it being the spearhead of a collective group of municipalities while still being the mayor of your own municipality and having their priorities at heart as well? How do you balance that?
Well, we I have to have the ear really open to listen to our 7 other municipalities. I'm here to represent them the best I can, and with the help of our CAO, Mr. Parisien, that is doing an excellent job in the United County of Prescott-Russell. Uh, uh, really, I'm in a very good hand with him, and uh, I gotta make sure that I work, like I mentioned before, work with the 7 other municipality and mayors. We have to have to be united together. We gotta work together, and with the leadership that I'll be bringing, I think that I'll be able to do that in the year 2022. So I'm sure that we'll be working together to promote our beautiful county, our beautiful municipalities in the United Counties of Prescott-Russell. It's a beautiful place to be. It's a beautiful place to establish businesses. Uh, we just look at in our municipality of Castleman, we have a distribution center that's coming in. Ford Canada is coming in. Over 150 jobs. We look at the for the um, food hub in Alfred also. So that's going to be another 100, 150 job if everything goes well. So we gotta have faith, and we gotta continue working as one, not individually, each municipality for the United County of Prescott-Russell. And in my mandate, I'd like to make sure that this will be really the focus point for the United County of Prescott-Russell to work as a team. That would be very, very important for 2022. Don't forget, this year is an election year. Working together to make sure that all our project could be achieved. We got to work together. We got to make sure that our uh, the people at Queens Park, that they do hear us. We got to have faith with our MPPs. Uh, so make sure that we work as united, and really, when we say United Counties of Prescott-Russell, it means that we're one, not 8 municipalities separated. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, and yeah, just finally, that I want to touch. You beat me to it. Speaking about the election year we've got there, we understand that one of the candidates that's going to be standing in this election is one of the fellow mayors that sit on the United Counties council with yourself as well. So how do the United Counties ensure that they work in unison and start, I'm going to say, lobbying and speaking to candidates without having this conflict of interest with one of your own essentially putting their name in the ballot?
Well, we look at United County. We do have a delegation that will be having at different conference, and the same as each municipality. So, sorry, each municipality, they have their own approach regarding uh, different ministries. So it's not all the responsibility of the United Counties to do all the work for all the municipalities. We're there to support them, and we're there to work with them if the need is needed. We got to understand that United Counties will have some delegation. Each municipality will be working for their own project also. So really, that's going to be uh, worthwhile because it's going to show that it's going to be a county that will be growing. Uh, so if all of them are achieved, saying that the project are achieved through each individual municipality, well, it's a plus for the United Counties. Really, that would be excellent for everyone.
Well, Warden Lafleur, that pretty much ties up everything I wanted to speak about today. I want to thank you so much for your time. You gave us a great insight into a couple of the projects going on from that community well-being and safety plan, as well as updates on the residents Prescott-Russell. And we'll be sure to try and get some conversations with the people leading those teams as well to see if we can dive in and give the residents a little bit more information on those. But before I let you go, are there any other priorities for 2022 that you have in mind that we haven't touched on yet?
Well, really, there's one in particular that I'd like to mention. It's regarding the public works. We have an excellent director there also, uh, Mr. Jeremy Bouchard, doing an awesome job through the United Counties. Now, uh, this year we have two projects that will be really will be working on. Will be the bridge at in Lemieux, and also the culvert at the Hawkesbury, East Hawkesbury. That that would be the two big project that the public works will have. Now for the uh, uh, economic development, we got the Prescott and Russell Cupr, the PR transport just put in two routes to help our businesses. An example like your in your area to make sure that we see our businesses, have a look at our businesses. We have two routes that could be made, and it's under the La Virie, okay, Brew and Chew Road Trip. That's the name of it. And there's 13 producers of the area that will be benefit of that also. And the Broken Stick of Ammon, the microbrassery, a brasserie of Ammon, and the one in Rockland also, Bruwick Hoffman Brewery in Rockland, and the farmers market in Van Hill. So we're gonna with Madame Carole Lavigne, one of our director at the development economic of Prescott-Russell. She implemented that, and I think that's going to be good for our businesses also. So I do encourage people to uh, go on the site of Prescott and Russell and see those routes and encourage our local businesses. So, and on my behalf, I do thank you so much, Mr. Stockton, to have me today at TV 22. Really, it's I'm I really appreciate what you're doing for us also, and what you're doing for the city of Clarence Rockland. So thanks so much, and I wish you all of you, uh, all of you, excellent year 2022, a lot of health. I think that's the main thing. The balance will be coming one way or the other.
Mr. Lafleur, I think you flatter me completely there at the end, but I think the way that you ended that with the Bruin, the sort of Bruin True tour is perfect, sort of giving me some reflections of summer as we sit here covered in snow at the moment. And for our French listeners out there as well, we have a show on our YouTube at the moment, as well as on our TVC channel called Le Goût des Comtés, where we actually over the course of last summer went round and spoke to quite a few of the businesses who were on the Bruin True tour actually, and had some interviews and showed what they have to offer. So please head off and watch those. But Warden Lafleur, thank you so much for your time today and for sharing some insight into some of the priorities for 2022.
I thank you again, sir. Have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you very much for watching this latest episode of A Political Insight by TVC22. We'll be back either next week or the week after with another look into life in Prescott-Russell. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.